Today, we're diving into the world of Dr. Jack Kruse. Now, he's a board-certified neurosurgeon, but his theory of health has absolutely nothing to do with counting calories. Instead, he says it's all about physics, light, and water. It's a radical and, let's be honest, deeply controversial idea that really challenges pretty much everything we think we know about wellness. So, get a load of this. This is his central claim. Obesity begins in the eye because of an altered spectrum of light. He's not saying the problem is what we're eating, but the light we're seeing. It's a huge statement that just completely flies in the face of conventional science. But here's the kicker. The man who said this isn't some fringe outsider. No, Dr. Jack Kruse is a product of the very system he now critiques. He's a board-certified neurosurgeon, MD from Louisiana State University, with published research in medical journals. And that's what makes this story so compelling, right? How does someone so steeped in mainstream medicine end up with a theory that seems to just reject its very foundations? Well, the answer isn't found in a research lab. It's actually found in his own personal crisis. You see, this wasn't some abstract theory he came up with for his patients. It was a desperate search to save himself. This was Dr. Kruse back in 2007, a 6'2" neurosurgeon weighing 357 pounds. And after he tore his meniscus, he had to face this really humbling reality. He was a healer who couldn't heal himself. He was, in his own words, completely ashamed and frustrated that his own health had just spiraled out of control. So, what did he do? He went back to his training, he went to the data, he launched himself into this insane 18-month deep dive, just consuming thousands of medical articles, hunting for some kind of truth that the simple eat less, move more advice had clearly failed to give him. And his research? Well, it led him to a really startling conclusion. What if medicine was blaming the wrong thing all along? What if the problem wasn't the food we were eating, but the actual modern world that we've built around ourselves? He puts together this timeline that points to the start of our modern health crisis, not in the 1970s with the food pyramid, but almost 100 years earlier. For Kruse, the real turning point was 1879. That's the year the incandescent light bulb was invented. And he argues this is when our relationship with light was fundamentally broken. So his big takeaway is that our bodies, which evolved over millennia under the natural light of the sun, are now in this constant state of struggle. We're living in a world of artificial, blue-heavy light and all these non-native electromagnetic fields. He claims this mismatch is the real origin of disease, right down at the cellular level. It's breaking our mitochondria, the little power plants inside our cells. This conclusion led him to create what he calls his quantum health blueprint. It's a way of looking at health that puts physics above biochemistry, and it's really built on 3 core pillars. First up, quantum biology. You see, the old model says molecules have to physically touch to interact, kind of like a lock and key. But Kruse says they communicate through frequencies, like tuning forks vibrating in sync. So if you imagine our bodies as a fine-tuned orchestra, he believes artificial light acts like static, just disrupting the music and causing communication to break down. Second, structured water. Now, Kruse claims the water inside our cells isn't just, simple liquid. He says it forms this organized, gel-like matrix, and this matrix acts like a biological semiconductor, basically a fiber optic network that absorbs energy from light and distributes it through the whole body, powering everything we do. And third, cold thermogenesis. This might be his most famous idea. Kruse claims that when you expose your body to cold, you force your mitochondria to generate their own internal light, which he calls biophotons. The implication here is pretty profound. You can actually strengthen your body's energy grid by literally making your own light from the inside out. So these 3 things, light, water, and cold, these are the absolute pillars of his philosophy. It's all about tuning up the fundamental energy engines of our body, our mitochondria. So as you can imagine, this quantum framework puts him in direct opposition to what he calls centralized medicine. His approach isn't meant to just supplement modern healthcare. It's a fundamental challenge to its core beliefs. And the contrast is pretty stark. Mainstream medicine advocates for colonoscopies. Kruse warns against the blue light from the scope itself. Doctors prescribe statins to lower LDL. He calls them mitochondrial toxins. And while most doctors recommend vitamin D pills for deficiencies, Kruse argues they're actually harmful, and that the only real fix is sunlight, or even a specific UV bulb from a pet store. Now, this very distinct philosophy hasn't just stayed in the realm of theory. Dr. Kruse has built a really significant online platform and business around teaching these principles to a growing global audience. Through his Kruse Longevity Center, he offers tiered Optimal Clubs memberships, and these range from about $48 a month for basic access all the way up to $125 a month for family accounts with a full webinar library. There's even a separate tier just for medical practitioners who want to learn his methods.